Welcome back everyone to more creepy TikToks. There is something that I want to share with you guys at some point during the show, but if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button because truth is, I may not show up in your recommendations again, and it could be difficult to find my channel with the way things are on YouTube. But on that note, let's go ahead and dive in.
A satanic statue in the apartment, and the gang members said they wanted to offer the beast a soul. Police say Hernandez Rivera and Alvarez Flores killed the girl execution style. Killers confessed to the crime after they were arrested. 22-year-old Miguel Alvarez Flores, there you see on the left, and 18-year-old Diego Hernandez Rivera on the right appeared in court this week. Now, according to HPD, most MS-13 gang members are in this country illegally, and these two murder suspects could be as well. Police say they have reported the two to Homeland Security. Now, an investigator told us this morning that officers found evidence in the apartment where these gang members were keeping underage girls that led police to believe there was some sort of satanic ritual activity happening there. HPD says there were 3 underage girls in the apartment of the murder suspects, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old who was murdered, and then a 16-year-old girl. Police say the 14-year-old told detectives she was kidnapped, drugged, and sexually assaulted by members of the MS-13 gang. Now, the 14-year-old also reportedly told investigators she was moved from one apartment to another, forced into consuming drugs and alcohol, then at one point was held down as Alvarez Flores tattooed the image of the Grim Reaper on her body from her knee down to her foot. This girl also told police the 15-year-old at the apartment was a girl named Genesis. She believes Genesis is the girl found dead on February 16th.
What are the chances that it was a Satanist that unalived a poor girl by the name of Genesis? Rest in peace to her, and I hope everyone else who was involved makes a speedy recovery. But you know, the Satanists, you have to start with the ones who are in power, remove them, and you might be able to get your country back.
There's a new force of nature at hand, stirring all over the world. They are the young people whom, frankly, we have failed, who are angry, who are organized, who are capable of making a difference. They are a moral army. And the most important thing that we can do for them is to get the hell out of their way.
Yeah, you failed all right. You failed at trying to brainwash us with your filthy propaganda. We played your games for all these years. Now it's time to play our games. We like to play what's called hide and seek, so you better run.
Finally, here we go. One more big date for you. June the 23rd. That's the last day that you get to opt out of what's being called the Great NHS Data Grab.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people like the sound of that one.
No, absolutely. As of July the 1st, the GP data of everyone in England is up for sale. The government says the info is anonymous and is a great way to drive forward medical science. On the other hand, campaigners against it say the government can't be trusted to keep our identities secret, and it's being rushed through without a proper debate. In any case, if you don't like the idea of your records being sold on, you can opt out. You'll need to fill out a form on the NHS digital website. Give that to your GP, either by post or email. Got to be done by the 23rd of June. Once it's on that record, it cannot be erased.
Matt, as always, an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We know why they want to try and sell our records. For a start, BlackRock has invested quite a lot into the NHS since 2012. BlackRock also holds a lot of shares in the you-know-what. So, you know, they look at your medical records and they see that you haven't got that, well then, guess what's going to happen to you? And what's going to make it worse as well is that if the government gets involved with the whole thing, you know, and then a social credit score comes in, you know, you can see how that's going to plan out.
I'm being followed by a moonshot, moonshadow, moonshadow. Leaping and hopping on a moonshot, moonshadow, moonshadow. And if I ever lose my legs, I won't.
What I find more terrifying is the fact that it could happen to any of us at any point, day or night. You know, we could be walking through the streets, walking through the cities, you know, smoking a fag, blowing a fart, and the next minute, boom, you know, we're all pretty much lit up like a Christmas tree on fire at that stage.
The videos of the Chinese kindergartners being absolutely elite at everything that they do, they occupy 90% of my brain power right now. In kindergarten, they just hand them a basketball and they say, time to work on your handles. Look at this. We have a generation full of iPad kids, and this is what they're doing. They're just elite at everything they do. They're more advanced than probably 8th graders now in America. These are all our, look at this, look what they're doing. These are all our future bosses. This isn't like, look, they even know how to cook. This isn't like, oh, we went down the local gymnastics and these are the top of the top. No, this is just like, recess. Time to work on your cooking skills and how to be the absolute greatest. Look at this. They just give them basketballs. I need to know more, and I'm going to find out more. I know a lot about Japanese baseball culture. It's crazy, but I need to know more. This is unbelievable. Can you imagine trying this in American public school? I'm serious. Can you imagine it? One of the kids would start crying. The other be like, why is my basketball not inflated like the other basketball? Then the other one would call their parents. We're doomed.
China knew what they were doing this whole time. They wanted to send crap over to the West that was made in China to try and dumb our wee ones down, while all the while they're military training their wee ones from like the age of 6 weeks. I remember a few years back we came across an Ouija board at a Smith's toy store and thinking how well it was even then. But you know, big corporations, they know that these things do work. Unfortunately, not a lot of parents do, or people, and so they just see this as a gimmick or a toy. But you know, when your child comes into you saying that they have an imaginary friend after, don't say you weren't warned.
So nobody finds it crazy that they're passing laws to protect our brainwaves? Colorado passes a law banning commercial use for people's brainwave data and thoughts, making it the first law to protect brainwaves. So you mean to tell me people are now stealing our thoughts and our brainwaves? Me not having the privacy of thinking is crazy. And then I went to New York Times and I seen this crazy article. And it said your brainwaves are up for sale. And a new law wants to change it. Dang. Since when was they selling our brainwaves or our thoughts? And for time purposes, y'all gonna read that whole article. But then it just makes me think, like, have y'all ever been just thinking about something and then it pop up on your phone? Yeah, like an advertisement or an ad. Welcome to 2024, where we're cooked.
One of them is going to be exposed to high levels. And the whole reason that we've covered them in tinfoil is because the environment of this classroom is filled with that. Right? So we had to try to isolate the plants inside of there and not let the Wi-Fi get in there.
I don't really know if it'll affect anything because, like, I grow plants in my, like, I have Wi-Fi in my house and I grow plants all the time and they grow fine.
It's gonna die.
You think so?
Yeah. It blew my mind that the Wi-Fi off, like, the plants are growing.
Yeah.
But Wi-Fi on, the plants are growing. So I think that when the Wi-Fi's on, it's affecting the world. Like, affecting the whole entire world.
It's wild to think that when we get home and connect to our Wi-Fi that our body's trying to signal to us sometimes that there's a change happening within our bodies. You know, sometimes our body might indicate to us that, you know, certain radiation levels, whether it's feeling nauseous or, you know, foggy brain or tiredness or fatigue. And we tend to shrug all that kind of stuff off, you know, but maybe we should all start paying more attention to that.
Machine Gun Kelly and Triple Red talk conspiracy theories, and this just gave me a weird vibe. Because when they start to talk about the Illuminati, I can't help to notice the upside down cross on MGK's ear. And I don't even have to explain Trippy Red, but just watch this.
GOAT conspiracy theory.
Project Bluebeam.
Weird. This fool knew the name.
Project Bluebeam is like mass manipulation of like a whole country or the whole world. Like they can put anything in the sky. They can make like, they can mass manipulate us to think aliens are here or angels came back and resurrected or anything like that.
I like that they put diseases in mosquitoes and release them. I don't like that, but I like that conspiracy. I like the simple shit too, like chemtrails, just because I'm reminded of it every day. I look up and I'm like, that's weird. And I like the ones about like us that we're all Illuminati. It's got to be the dumbest thing ever.
Well,
I
don't
just
know.
wake up every day trying to figure out. You don't know about me?
Come on now, Machine Gun Kelly. I mean, you're wearing an inverted cross in your ear, you lick blood off your woman's chest. I mean, you may not be part of the Illuminati, but you sure are a Satanist.
Do you see a red can there? Some of you will, some won't. But there are no red pixels on your screen. If you do a screenshot and zoom in, you will get this. It is black and white and teal. But if you zoom back out, some of you will go right back to seeing a red Coca-Cola can. Psychologist Akiyoshi Katoka likes to post these on social media. Here's another one. Just to point out that you do not see color with your eyes, you see color with your brain. I have found that you can kind of break the illusion if you just hold an actual red object up to it. The red will seem to disappear. But take it away and your brain will start to fill in red again. But as far as I can tell, no amount of squinting or distance will make this appear to be red because the context is lost. This one is probably the weirdest of all of them for me. There are, again, 0 red pixels on your screen right now. But this one actually stays kind of red for me even when zoomed in a little bit, especially if you pull your phone or your screen pretty far from your face. But get in close enough and it is just black and white and teal again. Exact same image. Every single thing you've seen in your entire life is a little bit of a lie.
I don't know about you, but all I seen was red in all those pictures. I mean, is this cap or what's the crack here?
Your phone is always listening, but your phone's also a snitch. All of you are going to feel far more sane when I explain to you how Bluetooth technology is actually interfering with your daily life. How many of you have gone to Target and maybe stared at the 70-inch TV for a minute too long, and then you go home later that day, you pop on the grams, and suddenly there it is, 70-inch TV. You're like, it's meant to be, right? Like, how did they know to give me that targeted advertisement, right? Well, the truth is that in Target, there are these little Bluetooth low energy beacons, and they are listening and they are receiving. So your Bluetooth has a unique identifier. Later, Target's gonna go through data brokers and figure out who that is, and that's how they're gonna figure out how to target you later, but that's how you start to get those targeted advertisements.
So I guess if we turn off our Bluetooth, then problems should be solved.
The consumers without them realizing it's taking place. Over the last few years, many class action lawsuits have been filed against the makers of shampoo and hair products containing DMDM-hydantin and sodium lauryl sulfate. DMDM-hydantin works by releasing small amounts of formaldehyde causing harmful side effects, such as hair loss and scalp irritation. And SLS is an ingredient used in shampoos to trap dirt, which also causes skin to become irritated. In 2016, Johnson & Johnson acquired Vogue International for $3.3 billion and assumed ownership for the OGX hair product line. Since the acquisition, J&J has continued marketing and selling OGX hair products to both men and women seeking smooth, shiny, soft, healthy hair. Then they turn around and sell products like Rogaine, which is the brand name version of minoxidil, the over-the-counter topical drug that can help treat hair loss. But unfortunately, it's not just Johnson & Johnson who's facing these lawsuits for putting these type of ingredients within their hair care products. Here's a couple of the brands that are facing the same class action lawsuits over the last few years.
I honestly didn't know that Johnson & Johnson sold all these types of products. I mean, I've used a few of those products myself in the past, but we need to find a way where we can just make our own soaps and shampoos.
Rishi Sunak, our Prime Minister, co-founded a hedge fund called Theleme, and no one's talking about it. Theleme invested, in the last few years, £1 billion in Moderna shares. Rishi Sunak said he has put all his assets into a blind trust. He has refused, and The Guardian was the last newspaper to report on this in November 2020. At that point, he refused to say whether he holds assets in Theleme and therefore in Moderna. So that man came out in front of 10 Downing Street, as our Prime Minister, and said, accountability, transparency, all of this. If you are true to your word, Rishi Sunak, tell us, do you own, through Theleme or any other means, shares in Moderna? Because if you do, are we now talking about insider trade?
We just want transparency. I agree with wanting transparency completely.
All of these politicians are corrupt. In fact, I mentioned about BlackRock buying out all the NHS medical data earlier, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's a frontrunner.
Watch carefully what this repairman appears to do inside the bedroom of 2 young girls. He goes up to a hamper, peeks inside, seems to check that no one's looking, and then reaches in, touching clothing and underwear. The man was supposed to fix damaged floors inside the Playa Vista home Wednesday, but instead, Jason Cooper says a hidden camera caught the guy doing something far different.
I was enraged when I saw this video.
Cooper says the camera on his 3-year-old daughter's crib recorded the worker making multiple trips to the hamper. At one point, you can see he reaches in to grab underwear, turns, and then brings it to his face.
And he's sniffing or licking or doing something disgusting with my either 5-year-old or 3-year-old's underwear.
The worker goes back again, but this time appears to put the girl's underwear in his pocket before leaving. After seeing the video, Cooper says he filed a police report. We called and emailed the man Cooper says is in the video, but he did not get back to us. Cooper says he also confronted the man by phone, and the man gasped after hearing he had been recorded.
And I didn't let him speak to me. I didn't want to hear what he had to say. He knew what he had done. He knew I had video of it. I want to make sure that he can't do this to another family.
These kind of people need lessons learned, and if it was me and he was in my house, I would have took a big dump in my own cacks and then I would have thrown it in his face and I would have made sure he breathed it in and sucked it down his throat.
Do you see this man right here? They are trying to silence him, but he still keeps speaking the truth.
Listen, everything we think comes into existence. So only think things that you want to come into existence. How you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. So you got to protect your mind. And you got to know it takes 3 minutes minimum for your body to produce a hormone. Your thoughts produce chemicals. So you got a built-in CVS. You got a built-in pharmacy inside of your body. Okay? So when you think about something for 3 minutes or more, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. You said it. What's the word? What's the word? Oh, dopamine. Dopamine. Your body is going to produce that naturally. 3 minutes or more. With a thought that can activate that in your body. And then that chemical, that hormone becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. So create the world you want to live in, because you're creating the world that you're living in. So create the world that you want to live in, because you're creating the world that you live in.
You know, the truth is, once you start working on yourself and once you start doing things more positively and thinking more positively, you do genuinely become an overall positive person. And I think one of the tricks that really helped me was what I call 3DP, so 3-dimensional perspective. And essentially what that means is, you know, any past events or current events that's going on in your life, you look at it through your own eyes, you know, the other person's eyes, and then like a fly on the wall. That way you're able to gather a lot more information about that particular event. And so from that, you can kind of weigh up the positives from that and also the negatives. And the negatives, you look at that and see how, you know, what you can do next time to improve on that or to benefit from that and sort of work on that so it doesn't happen again.
Whoever this man is going viral for one of the worst ways imaginable. So this man was live at the Snooker World Championship. It's like a version of pool. And he was caught in the background with this young boy right here, which we don't know is his son or not, but he was standing very close to him. And then as the camera moves to look at this guy who was one of the announcers, this guy starts rubbing his face on this kid's face and then grabs his ear and tugs on it with his teeth. Not to mention, once the kids started waving at the camera, showing that they were actually on screen, this guy, which I can only assume is his dad, starts smiling and moving his head like nothing's wrong because he knows he just got caught. So whoever this guy is, he needs to be investigated immediately because he should not be anywhere around kids. If that's what he's willing to do in public, people can only imagine what he's willing to do in private. If you know this man, you need to report him.
The way his son reacted in response to his dad's behavior just tells me that all that is normal, which is not normal. And the fact that the wee guy smiled to make his dad aware that he's been caught in the camera just makes it a little bit more creepy. But there's no dad that I would know that would ever act like that on their children.
Logan Paul and KSI seem to be in real big trouble, you guys. So they released this drink called Prime. Now, Prime is specifically tailored for children because you can see how colorful it is. It has been discovered that their drinks contain parasites, or also known as Morgellons. Yes, this is what you're looking at over here. And it also contains chemicals known as PFOs, or forever chemicals. Check this out, y'all.
Prime is now getting sued, and you should be seriously concerned if you had any Prime since it released. So Prime is now going through a new lawsuit after it was discovered that their drink has PFOs, which is forever chemicals. But what's really concerning is the fact that the lawyer who tested their drink is claiming it has 3 times the amount of forever chemicals a human can safely have in their lifetime. And the lawsuit is claiming they found these forever chemicals in the grape-flavored Prime drink. However, it also seems like other flavors might also have these chemicals because other Prime flavors are being tested. And we're going to find out after the lawsuit is approved. One lawyer on TikTok actually spoke about this and said he had a 10-year-old and his mother talked to him about how her son got leukemia after drinking Prime. Now knowing that Prime contains these chemicals, it's very much likely because of it. These chemicals are known to cause cancers and deteriorate your health since they're forever chemicals and your body can't get rid of them. Prime has 3 times the amount of these chemicals a person should have in their lifetime, which is insanely concerning, and all we can do is hope that Prime doesn't contain any of these chemicals, which might be unlikely. So if you still drink Prime or have any, make sure you dispose of all of it until we find out what's going on with Logan's drink.
Is there anything ever safe to drink these days? You know, like forever chemicals, surely there's got to be something out there that can remove these chemicals from our system. There has to be.
Did you know Apple just applied for a patent so that they can retrofit AirPods to read your mind? Or they didn't apply, they filed a patent. So what it is AirPods, they're fitting them with like electromagnetic sensors. And do you guys remember when we talked about they could hook a like brain machine up to a person and they could look at something and they could use AI to generate the picture?
Yeah.
So that technology, rather than a full helmet, they have successfully mapped via sensors in AirPods. They've successfully done the same thing. What they said,
Wow.
I was reading in neuroscience.com or something like that. I was reading an article and it said what they're able to do is read that sensor, and they said everybody's electromagnetic pulses are different. And so it's not just an immediate read what you're thinking and then regurgitate it. It's a process of learning. And so they mine and log all of the thoughts, all of the pulses. And so
Are these in the current headphones? They may be testing stuff. Who knows?
But they said, the article I found said they did it successfully 5 years ago.
Oh, weird. Come on, Steve.
But you know how they like updated the iPhone 15 in France with a software update so it wasn't spitting out radiation?
Oh,
they
yeah.
probably can do the same thing with all of their.
Think
we fixed the radiation.
Think
No,
about
you
the
didn't.
iPhone, like the heartbeat sensor and all that stuff. Not the iPhone, the watch.
Yeah.
Stuff they're taking out. Like this could be a behind the scenes. Like they're like, we don't like what you're doing with the tech, so we're trying to shut you down.
If there's one thing I can say about some of these clips that we've seen tonight is there's a real spiritual warfare happening. Whether you believe it or not, there really is. You know, it's going to get to the point where our own thoughts is going to be held against us. You know, our own facial recognition is going to deem us as, you know, a future criminal or not. And the thing is that if we can't stand up against this technology now, we're not going to stand up for it later, and it's going to be way too late by then.
This is the disturbing moment a man was bundled into a van in broad daylight by alleged kidnappers as he desperately struggled to escape. Shocking CCTV footage shows a red van pulling up outside a house in Bradford at 11 a.m. on March 6th. Wait, 3 men got out and headed down an alleyway. Before dragging a man into the van, the man frantically tried to shake the men off, but they picked him up and threw him inside before driving off. Cops in the West Yorkshire city are now probing the alleged kidnap, after the man suffered injuries to his ribs and jaw.
Here, no harm to you, hi, but if any man try to grab me, they better like the taste of pee, because I'm telling you now, if my hand can reach below my waist, they're getting it, like. So that's all I have for you today, guys, but there will be one more final clip added at the end of the video. However, there is something I do want to share with you guys, which for some reason I felt compelled last night to do it, and it was a poem. I don't know what the poem was going to be about. I just grabbed my phone and started typing. I don't know if it's meant to be like a message or maybe resonate with some of you guys, but I named the poem The Father's Message. And I'll go ahead and read it to you now. So it says here, the bed that springs your head, your strings, the strength required brings you to your knees. The shell you were, that thing you tear, it's hard to bear not wanting to be seen. The voices inside like Bonnie and Clyde, forever having fights, cries your inner screams. The devil invites stands right to your side with his evil grin wide and ready to grant your dreams. He shouts and laughs, "You pathetic little man, take this rope and chair and balance it on a can. There's no use for you here, so have nothing to fear, for there was never a God, now leave here in good cheer." As you step on the chair, Satan gives one last stir. He says, "Do it now, for there's no one who cares." As you grab the rope, there echoes a crying voice, "My child, you will choke, you still have a choice. You don't know me, but I surely know you, for you were wonderfully made in your mother's womb. Your struggles, your hurdles, truly I've seen them all. I shouted to you for years, but you did not hear my call. Now I finally got your attention, this is what I want to say. That you, my child, have my blessing, that I care enough for your stay." The devil became scared and fled, like a little witchy bitch. Our Father stared in your eyes and said, "My child, J316. So I don't know if that resonates with any of you guys, but for whatever reason, I just felt compelled to write it, and I feel a wee bit cringe because I've never done this. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, I hope you did enjoy the compilation, guys, and be sure to like and subscribe as well. But until the next video, look after yourselves, stay safe and stay healthy, and I'll see you then.
Look what she did to my car, man. Look what this bitch did to my car. I can't stand this bitch. Look what she did to my car. Look what this bitch did to my car. I can't stand this hoe. I can't stand